Hey out there Akronites, welcome once again to Around Akron with Blue Green, and wow, we're gonna go visit some really cool places. We're gonna head over to Stonehedge and learn all about their game rooms and, of course, their bowling. We're gonna meet up with the Pierogi Lady and learn all about her amazing pierogies. And then we're gonna break some stuff at the Rage Room, Ohio. Now to kick this show off today, we're gonna head over to Hartville kettle-cooked potato chips. Now if you know me, you know I love my potato chips. Let's go see what Hartville kettle-cooked potato chips are all about.
My cousin Ted Robb, he actually used to own OK Potato Chips. So for our family, potato chips were a thing. I can remember going to family parties, we would have a bag of OK Potato Chips. A lot of people in the area remember OK Potato Chips as the local potato chip out of Kenmore and then Barberton. People remember going to those locations, being able to buy a can of potato chips, get them hot, fresh, right out of the fryer. Ted Robb, once he sold OK Potato Chips back in the early 1990s, he signed a non-compete, and when he signed a non-compete, he started selling potato chip equipment all around the United States and actually internationally as well. When Anthony and I had a business idea to start a potato chip company, we went to Ted Robb, and ironically, that was exactly when his non-compete ran out. So we really started throwing around the idea of bringing back a local potato chip company. And since he had the understanding, we didn't have to really reinvent the wheel. We basically did everything the way Ted Robb used to do it at OK Potato Chips. We bought very similar equipment. We're running the potato chips the same way. We're using pretty much the same ingredients, potato, salt, and 100% soybean oil. We did have to update it for today's FDA standards, but we're pretty happy with getting as close as we possibly could to that old OK potato chip. It's funny, the number one question I always get is, who makes our potato chips for us? We make all of our bags of potato chips right here in Akron, Ohio. And we're doing it small batch, kettle cooked style. We're doing about 90 pounds of finished product per hour. And the way that we get that done is we have a Ford F-150, so we're going basically to the farms and picking up our potatoes. We're bringing them back here. We're using a tow motor to get those crates of potatoes out of our truck, and we take them back to our storage area. We go on a Monday, we take that Ford F-150, we go pick up the potatoes, and we cook them by Tuesday, Wednesday. Unfortunately, potatoes are a very finicky thing. As soon as you start moving them and transporting them, they start to break down very quickly. So we want to make sure that we're going to pick up fresh potatoes and cooking them as quickly as possible. These are potatoes unwashed, so they go through a rinse, they go through a peeler. Basically on the outside of the peeler, it's all sandpaper, and it just scuffs off the outside of the potatoes. Comes out of the peeler. We have an inspector inspect the potatoes, make sure that they're the right size, don't have any rot in them, and then he moves them onto the conveyor belts, basically. We put a certain amount on the conveyor belts to go into each batch. We're doing everything small batch, so it goes in as one batch, it fries as one batch, and then it comes out as one batch. As opposed to most other potato chip companies, they're using continuous fryers where potatoes are just continuously going into the fryer and coming out of the fryer. The way that we do it, you can really taste the difference in the flavor, and it's a lot more simplistic. Once we have the potatoes on the conveyor belt, they go through the slicer, it drops the slices onto a high-speed conveyor belt, and we shoot our potato chips directly into the hot fryer. Most other chip companies do a rinse and rinse out all the flavor at that point. We don't do that. Once they're in the actual fryer, they cook at anywhere from 320 degrees to 350 degrees for anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes. It goes into a basket, and then it's dumped onto a sorting table, which you can probably see right behind me here. Actually, my mom is working right there. So once the hot, fresh potato chips come out of the fryer, my mom's there. She's inspecting the potato chips again, making sure that there's no spots in them. making sure that they didn't overcook, making sure they didn't undercook. Once she has gone through that, then she spreads them all out on the sorting table, we call it, and then she hand salts it. Once she's done hand salting it, making sure there's no bad chips in the batch, then she moves it down the conveyor belts. The conveyor belts are especially timed so the chips have enough time to cool before they actually drop in the bag. We actually have what's called a vertical form and fill bagger, which allows us to do a high volume of chips basically per batch. We buy anywhere from 75,000 to 100,000 to 150,000 bags at a time that come in rolls, and it actually goes through the bagger. It forms the bags, the chips drop down into the bag, and then we have our sealed finished product. At that point, we have a employee pack the boxes and then put them into our inventory. I'm super excited about these barbecue potato chips. The reviews so far have been phenomenal, and I really think it's the next step. We're already thinking about other flavors to bring out as well. So as soon as we come out with the barbecue, Anthony and I are already thinking about new flavors. And then, you know, the way our operation is set up, we could also get into the popcorn business as well, or other snack foods. It would be pretty easy to integrate those into our operation. As we started Hartville potato chips, our business plan was really to bring back the OK potato chips, to bring back that old style potato chip where you're not rinsing out the starches, where you're just using simple ingredients. We wanted people to remember OK potato chip and try our chip and say, these are very similar, if not exactly like the old OK potato chip.
Next up, we're gonna head over to Stonehenge, that place off of Route 8 that we've all seen. Now, if you don't know what this place is all about, they have an amazing bowling setup and tons of games in their game rooms. Let's go see what Stonehenge is all about.
You know, basically, you really don't need to walk in with anything if you don't want to, because we have everything available. Oh, if you have your own ball and shoes, you can bring that, obviously. Of course, we have rental shoes here and bowling balls available. Sometimes we need to help people put their names in the computer and so forth if they're not computer savvy, but it's pretty simple once you get everything set up. It's been here 50 plus years. There was a renovation since then. Major renovation. They moved the bar was actually on the other side, and they moved it over here and did a lot of different things with the renovation. As far as the history, I mean, the owner is still, that built the building is still here. Fred Borden is the owner, and he actually built the building and runs the center still to this day. I have some open bowling, and I have a ladies league right now that's bowling down here on the other end. But through the week, we're pretty much full of leagues in the evenings. They can contact us if they're interested in a league. We talk to them about what day of the week is good for them and figure out what fits for them. High school bowling is the biggest growing thing in high school sports. We just finished up our high school tournaments. We had sectionals here for Summit County and Stark County for D1 and D2. We do adult tournaments as well. We have a group named HDP that does a lot of tournaments and sweepers here. And it's pretty popular. They do a nice job when they come in and run these tournaments. Bowling, you use more muscles than you ever realized. It is very good exercise, and you know, even for the little kids, we can put the bumpers up, we have the ramps, so bowling is really, I mean, you know, even for people with disabilities, you know, we have a wide range of things that they can use so that they can still bowl. And it's, to me, it's an all-around sport and a lifetime sport that people can do. You know, we don't have anybody that sits on the bench, so to speak. Everybody can participate. Yeah, we have pinball games behind our bar area, and down at the other end, we have pool tables down there. We have an arcade area for the kids and the adults. And we also, of course, have our bowling. We have 48 lanes. And then we have a putt-putt course that we use in the summertime. Right now it's under renovation, but we do have an outside venue that we occasionally use in the summertime. We also have dartboards down by our pool tables. Those are actually a new addition in the last year and a half. The pinball is a very big attraction right now. We have a lot of people that come in pretty regularly to play pinball all the time, and they love it. I mean, people walk in here and they say, wow, you've got a lot of pinball machines, which we've got a good selection, and the gentleman that takes care of them for us does a good job of trading them out on occasion just to keep everything fresh. We do have a pro shop at the front, by the front door, the Cutting Edge Pro Shop. And if you choose, he sells bowling balls, drills bowling balls, actually sells dart equipment too for the dart machines, and he does a very nice job. A couple of our people that work here offer lessons as far as bowling. The owner is actually the one-time USA Olympic team coach, Fred Bord. He and Jerry Edwards both coached for the Olympic team. We do our lunar bowling from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Right now we do it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and that is for adults only 18 and over. We feel it's better that way, and it's a very different atmosphere. It's a lot of loud music, so to speak, and people are just here to recreation type bowling. I guess the reason I've been here so long is because, especially our league bowlers, they become like family, and that's something that, you know, your friends you see every day or every week, once a week if they bowl once a week. That's I guess what's kept me here so long and kept a lot of us here so long. That, you know, because people become friends, and they're kind of like family. I mean, I've known some of these people for 35 years, and it's, you know, they become just like family.
Next up, I'm gonna meet up with the Pierogi Lady. So let's forget about those box pierogies we all grew up with and learn about real pierogies. Let's go see what the Pierogi Lady is all about.
The first thing I remember cooking is potato and cheese pierogi with my grandma in Peninsula, where we grew up. She made them weekly for our family to eat on Sundays. When my grandma made pierogies, we rolled the dough on the counter with a rolling pin. She had already made the potato and cheese filling, and my job would be to pinch the pierogies. She would scoop and fold the pierogies, and I would pinch as a little girl. Pierogies are Polish or Eastern European dumplings, most traditionally filled with potatoes, sauerkraut, cabbage, and we like to call them little pockets of love. We make about 150 different kinds, including gluten-free and vegan and traditional. Have a dough sheeter to roll out our dough, because rolling the dough by hand would take way too long for the amount of pierogies that we're putting out. Everything else is handmade. The girls scoop the filling into the dough, fold it, cut it, pinch it, and either gets packaged for restaurants or to sell retail from there. We're making about 30,000 pierogies a week by hand. I didn't realize the demand for pierogi when we started. I knew people liked them. I knew it was my favorite food, but it's very, very popular in this area. And it's brings back a lot of feelings of tradition, memories with your grandparents or your parents making pierogi. And in a lot of cases, people's grandparents have passed away. So now they don't have that feeling, the nice, comforting feeling of pierogies at home. So they get ours and they say that they're closest thing to their grandparents, and that's a great feeling. I was laid off from a restaurant job back when everybody was getting laid off from their jobs, and I really didn't want to go back to work for somebody else. So pierogi making was the only thing I knew how to do that could be a viable business. And I wasn't even really sure if it could be a viable business at that point. So started making pierogies, and our first farmer's market was in Tremont, and we made $400, and that blew my mind, and it was off to the races from there. Basically, we started doing farmer's markets. And from there, we would meet people. Like, we did the farmer's market in Hudson, and we met Kevin and JJ from Hudson's restaurant, and they started carrying our pierogi on their menu. They were our very first customer, and then it kind of went from there. We sell to about 30 restaurants in Akron and Cleveland area. We started selling to some small grocery stores around town and all the way out to Chardon and Youngstown. Lots of little stores, butcher shops that like to get our pierogies out. They go great with the steak or pork chops. So you can find our pierogies in packs of 6 in the freezer sections at your local butcher shops or small grocery stores. If you can't find them at the store near you, you can visit us on Facebook, and we post a weekly delivery menu. We are hoping to open a store in the next couple months. We do, besides the home delivery and selling to restaurants and grocery stores, you can find us at popular festivals, farmers markets around the area. We set up at breweries all over town, and people come and have pierogies, and we usually have chicken paprikash and halushki along with that, and those items are very popular. So when you get our pierogies, they've already been boiled. So the most important thing is don't boil them. You can saute them, which is the way I grew up eating them. Some people like them just boiled, so you could heat them with a little bit of water to eat them like that. They can be steamed, deep fried, air fried. That's very popular now. Baked. Takes on a little bit of a different texture, but they're still good. Cheeseburger, very popular. We also make one we call Kitchen Girl, which is like a galley boy in a pierogi, very tasty. Cubanos are really popular. It's just like a Cuban sandwich without the bread, but in a pierogi. They're delicious. Traditional potato cheddar is always going to be number one. It's a safe bet. You don't have to wonder if you're gonna like it. Kids like it. Everybody loves potato cheddar.
Now to wrap this show up today, we're gonna head over to the Rage Room, Ohio. You ever wanna break something? You ever wanna smash something up to release some anger? Well, this is the place you wanna visit. Let's go see what the Rage Room, Ohio, is all about.
Well, I would have to say I was a little bit destructive. I used to have a lot of go-karts and dirt bikes and stuff, and constantly wrecking and you know, tearing up my parents' yard. They weren't super excited about that. I used to be in the escape room business. You know, I kind of follow economic trends, and things were slowing down, and I decided that it was time to move on. So I sold, and I had seen that rage rooms were steadily on the rise, and then I had seen that there was none in Ohio. So we just kind of went all in head first, and it's been probably the best experience I think I've ever had. We first opened, we had a 18-year-old girl with brain cancer, came in with her family. After the session, she came over and just hugged me and said this is probably the most crazy experience, beneficial experience that she's been through, and I can only imagine what she's been through. It's something we didn't really expect. You know, we've had a lot of cancer patients, people just going through tough times, losing loved ones, and the experience overall has been just overwhelming. We have people coming in here after sessions, hugging us, saying that they cannot believe something like this exists and how beneficial it's been to them. And overall, I think we've been touching a lot of lives since we've been open. Our main thing is we want to give back to the community and a mental health sort of aspect. We raise money for Red Oak Behavioral of Akron, children struggling with behavioral issues. We have raised money for SAM Center, Serving Area Military. Last year we actually fed 7,000 military families. And then we also raised some money for Not Just October, Breast Cancer Foundation. So you have a couple of different packages to choose from, 2 people up to 4. Obviously the bigger packages, you get more variety of items, windshields, cases of wine, liquor bottles, dishes, electronics, pretty much anything you can think of, you know, to smash up. We started out with baseball bats, and then we moved into crowbars, sledgehammers, you know, different things like that. Unfortunately, a lot of things don't hold up too well. So those pretty much are our main items that we use. We offer a couple different add-ons. We have some apparel that we sell. We also have USB videos. Has your whole experience on a thumb drive that you get to take with you and kind of relive the memory. Definitely some good clips come out of those sometimes. People don't realize in the moment what they're doing or saying. So it's pretty interesting to watch sometimes. As of right now, we have a lot of relationships with bars, wineries, thrift shops, you know, a lot of things like that. We're currently in the works to start a electronics disposal business of our own. And the way we have it set up is we can do it all for free because it's inventory we use and then, you know, take to recycling to the proper places. We have a rage painting, more for children or just people that don't feel as rageful. They kind of just get to take out their inspiring side by throwing paint around. We use syringes, paint brushes, paint squirt guns, and they just get to shoot paint all around the room. We do a lot of team building. Do have families on occasion. We've done different team building things for major Fortune 500 companies, Lincoln Electric, Goodyear, a lot of different large places, and it seems to be beneficial. I kind of, you know, sometimes life and business and things can get stressful, and they can come in here and just kind of rage out together, and everybody leaves kind of calm and bonded. Unfortunately, with the way the world is right now, rage seems to be steadily on the rise. I think we're definitely, curbing that by helping people relax a little bit. And yeah, it's been very great. We're looking to expand by a bigger facility. We're going to start moving into food fight rooms, especially for children and different things, because you do have to be 16 and up right now to do the rage room.
Thank you once again for watching this episode of Around Akron with Blue Green. Now, if you have any questions or comments, you just want to drop me an email, you can reach me at www.aroundakronwithbluegreen.com, or you can catch me on social media. Thank you, and have an amazing day. Next up, we're going to head over to Stonehenge. Now, if you don't know what that place is all about, and you've seen it on route, I'm going to head over to Stonehenge and check out their amazing